Radio. Yo and hello fam, Avenue here. Make sure you tune in every Thursday at high noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific to Avenue and Friends, only on rawradiox.com. It's your weekly therapy session, your usual dose of highfalutin hijinks, crazy antics, sarcasm, and bad jokes. Oh, it's true. Remember, it's Avenue and Friends, Thursdays at noon, 9 a.m. Pacific. rawradiox.com. Act like you know.
The Art of Relationships radio show is copyrighted. No one is to use any part of the show without express written consent from myself, Greg Dzinski, or The Art of Relationships. Thank you.
Welcome to the Art of Relationships radio show. Greg has been a relationships expert guest host on numerous radio shows. He promises that this show is for you and to help listeners become more fulfilled, healthier, and happier in your relationships and lives. Licensed relationship and sex counselor Greg Dzinski, the Art of Relationships radio show will cover crucial elements in rebuilding emotional and physical intimacy, plus help in reigniting the passion in your romantic relationships. He also welcomes live calls from listeners in helping with these very challenges. No more tit-for-tat arguments. Greg gets to the root of couples' challenges in a rapid, matter-of-fact format, plus applies compassion and humor. Join in discovering how to improve your romantic relationship and your own life. Listen, laugh, and grow happier. Greg is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan. To others, he's simply known as Master G.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is Greg Dzinski. This is the Art of Relationships radio show coming from the studios of rawradiox.com in Detroit City. Here with my man Av, who helps me out right here. Say hello.
Hello.
Hey, I got that voice, man. If I was gay, Av, I'd be all over you. We're coming from studios Raw Radio X, and you, as always, on Wednesday evenings, you can give us a call with your questions, any insights you have. I'm here to help you. That's why I said the Art of Relationships radio show is for you. Hopefully to improve your life, your relationships, and hopefully just enhance your overall life being. The phone number here, you call us at the rawradiox.com studios at 313-462-0107. Oh boy, 313-462-0107.
I was just gonna say, I know my handwriting's pretty decent.
No, it is decent. Mine. You don't want me writing yet. I should have it. I got it memorized. Believe me.
Do you have the typical doctor's handwriting?
Actually, it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's bad, but it's not that bad.
Okay.
No. Yeah, when I write students on the board, I always misspell words and stuff in college. Hopefully no one's... bosses aren't listening, whatever. I'm not an English professor by any means. Or math, so yeah, just stick with her. Hopefully everybody's safe. I know up in the Thumb area and maybe down south of Detroit, too. Hopefully everybody's safe from Monday evening. The storms, Monday evening, early Tuesday morning. That's... I was off the air Monday evening and working on my upcoming book that should be out by the end of July. I promise, people. I said the end of April, but it's going to be the end of July, I promise. And people, you get a glimpse on the cover, in the back cover of the book on Facebook. Look under Greg Dzinski, D-U-D-Z-I-N-S-K-I. Tonight, it's good to be back on air. It's hump night, everybody. So hopefully everybody's sort of jazzy, got everything going on. And topics of tonight are going to be from, not in any particular order, they are going to be, we're going to talk about, are you that prepared to get married? Are you, even if you live together, are you that ready? Have you talked about stuff? And I'm going to bring up stuff that actually, if you want to say it, the shit's going to hit the fan, and are you ready to handle this information? So you're going to get some maybe marital, pre-cohabitation insights that I want you to address in your relationship so you're ready to go into it with your eyes wide open instead of just your legs wide open. Ah, how unprofessional, but that was funnier than shit. So we're looking at the situation. I want you guys to, address all these issues. And you're going to have your own issues too. There's no way I'm going to come up with, all the situations that you might run into. It's almost impossible. Everybody's different. You could have, physical disability issues, maybe even, cognitive, mental disability aspects too. Maybe, you're maybe older, had a stroke, or maybe you're in a car accident. All these things that you're addressing, there's no way I can cover all of them, but I want to hit the main avenues to...
Nice.
I know, and that was smooth, wasn't it?
Real smooth.
I want to hit the main aspects that you might run into that you're going to think about. Maybe it's a rule of thumb. We don't have to discuss it. We don't have to talk about it because, you know what? We're just going to deal with it. I want to help you, address the issue so they don't become huge challenges in your relationship. I want to try to make that transition as smooth as possible, okay? So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Also, we're going to hit on sexual conquest. Oops, as I dropped my stuff. Sorry about that, people. Sexual conquests. And also, not only sexual conquests, do you think they are as important when you get older in life? Maybe a teenager looking at, oh, yeah, I want this, or early 20s, whatever. But do you think sexual conquests, are they ongoing even as you age? What about sexual conquests in a monogamous relationship? Do you still have those? Ooh. Av's looking confused.
I'm not sure what you sexually active people are doing these days.
Oh,
it's
the asexual Av.
It's all interesting to me. It's all very interesting. I don't know. I mean, just the idea of a sexual conquest within a relationship. I mean, unless we're talking about some role playing thing, what's the point? I mean, isn't it all just for equal pleasure for both?
It
I mean, I know some people
be.
have, different views on it,
but can you have sexual conquests in a relationship, monogamous relationship? You up the ante. It could be role playing. It could be maybe invigorating the fantasy life a little bit more too.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. Now, if you're talking about using it to spice things up a bit, hey, it's all fun.
Absolutely. And another topic I want to talk about, and this one, it doesn't hit home. It hits home in my office because I run into this more than people could imagine. People having affairs, okay? Or maybe not only affairs, they break up with one person, end up dating another person, but that person happens to be maybe a best friend of your ex or a relative. Maybe it's your ex-girlfriend, your ex-wife's sister or a brother. What do you think about those situations? I'd love to hear from people that are currently, or maybe they were in that situation and said, oh shit, that was a big mistake. Or maybe it worked out for you. And the alienation you get from maybe friends, from let's face it, your relatives, your friends, all those situations. I want to touch on those because I think a lot of people, it's out there and a lot of people are curious about it. No, they're looking at it. Oh, there's no way I could do that. Oh, my God, there's no way I could date my ex's sister, my ex's brother, whatever situation, or best friend. But they're out there more than you can imagine. So I want to talk about that and get your insights. Again, 313-462-0107. And you can also join us on the live chat. I got that up on Spreaker. You can definitely... go on a live chat on the Art of Relationships radio show's own mobile apps. And also, you can listen to the show on rawradiox.com along with Spreaker.com and TuneIn. I think it's all over the place. So, welcome the Art of Relationships radio show here in Detroit City. Now, let's hit on what are some, common themes that people hit on when they go to move in together, right? A lot of people don't really hit on this. They might look on, okay, what side of the bed are we going to sleep on? That, believe it or not, that can be a big argument. You're like, okay, no problem. I'll take the opposite side of the bed I'm used to sleeping on, and I'll get used to it. And what happens that you never do get used to it and, restless sleep. everyone talks about, the chores. How are you going to divvy up the chores? That's a common theme. Everybody talks about that. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. What about, as far as setting boundaries for how are you going to handle holidays? Whose house are you going to go to, right? Who's right, who's wrong, and how do you divvy up that? And is that maybe that's not a big issue. Maybe that's an easy issue. But say you're both very close to your family. If one of the partnerships, I'll say, is not that close with the family, it might not be a big issue. Say you're both tight with your families, right? You're both close, maybe frickin' Velcroed to your families. And, you have the holidays coming around, birthdays, anniversaries, Thanksgiving, Christmas, if you, participate in Christmas, Easter, whatever, Halloween, what the hell, Hanukkah, trying to think the other holidays.
Arbor Day and
Kwanzaa and
what else? National Grilled Cheese Day.
I got to do a show on the special holidays about Oral Sex Day.
And February 29th.
Doggy Style Day. What's February 29th? Is that your birthday, Av? No, it is. Av special. It's the one time of the year
I'm totally joking. It's not at all.
I was going to say, it's the one time of the year that Av gets laid. February 29th, every 4 years?
Yeah, no. If that's the case, my birthday is actually February 31st.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Like never. Av always sung the anti-sexual, right? He's not the asexual. He's the anti-sexual.
Boo sex.
Boo sex. Sorry, man, there's no way. Now, it's something we talk about. If you never had sex the rest of your life, would you be happy? Would you be okay? And I'm not talking not with somebody else. I'm talking period. I'm talking not even with yourself, the menage de moi. I'm talking about nothing. You don't masturbate. You wouldn't have sex. Would you be happy? Could you be happy? And
wow. I guess.
Are you happy, Av?
The first few years sucked, but I mean, honestly, you get used to it after a while. You start to focus on everything else. You realize that there's definitely more to life. I mean, it's crazy how much more there is to life than getting laid. And
Absolutely.
There's so much energy that people spend on that. For me, I've realized that's it's something that's it's fruitless. There's no point, literally.
Well, why do you say exert? Yeah.
Well, for me at least,
if it's done right, you have to exert energy, right?
Right. Well, for me at least, because again, it goes back to the rules of attraction. It's just like I've realized that 9 times out of 10, what I'm attracted to is not attracted to me, and vice versa. What's attracted to me 9 times out of 10, I'm not attracted to that. So, for me, trying to use any type of energy or anything just to get laid, it's a definite waste of time. Definite. And I could spend that time, doing more positive things or making money or something. Planting flowers. Who knows?
Planting flowers. Yeah, I don't think people should exert a lot of energy at trying to get laid. I think the more energy you expel at it, the less it's going to happen. Hey, welcome, Fu. Welcome. I agree. I think more people that try to get laid don't get laid. And they, sort of exhibit, what do I want to say? It's almost like it's a magnet, they're going after, they're a magnet. I want sex. And all of a sudden, instead of being a magnet, man, it's a boomerang effect, and it just repels people like freaking mosquitoes. So going up, what situation? I know, Av, you lived with somebody before. I've lived with a few ladies myself, and you look at, and the new, what do I want to say? The new show that was out, the big, Marriage at First Sight.
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, I'm watching a little bit of it, and some of there were textbook therapists, some of them on there. It was bad. But ironic, Marriage at First Sight, not only that, but when you're living with somebody or before you date somebody for a while, right? In these situations, when you're thrown into real life, you have work-life balances, you have living together, and you look at the situations. How do you go ahead and prepare? What would you talk about and prepare about, okay, I'm going to do this, I'll help with this, chores, dishes. What about food? What happens if one person likes spicy and the other one doesn't?
And I do. I love spicy.
And then you like spicy and you don't like sex.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
isn't
a contradiction,
weird,
isn't it?
Well, see, it's not that I don't like sex. When I used to have it, I'm not gonna lie, true story. When I used to have it, I enjoyed the crap out of it. It's just that I got so used to not having it, and then seeing how pointless the pursuit of it was, that I just became more apathetic to it, and now it's just more like okay.
You don't want to desire it because you get disappointed.
Oh, well, when you know the disappointment is there, it's just like, what's the point?
Well, we'll see. We'll have to flip that script around. It's been how long now, and it's not working? But when you reside with somebody, you're looking at, what are, we talk about expectations of a relationship, but when you live with somebody, what are some things you run into that maybe you didn't expect, or maybe you thought it would go a lot smoother than what you anticipate? And say if you're both on the same work schedule, which is, hopefully ideal, what happens? Who has dibs on the bathroom? Who has, how are you going to handle those situations? And I talked about, the holidays and everything. Are you expecting your partner to give in? Do you take turns? Or do you say, well, I love my family more than you love your family, so we're going to do all this shit? How do you balance the situation out? Now, and what happens if your partner doesn't want to go to, say, certain family events, weddings, whatever, birthday parties, anniversaries, graduations, whatever? If your partner says, no, I don't want to go, are you going to be okay with that? Are you going to be pissed? Or would you be just okay with it? That, you know what, I understand, no big deal, whatever. Are you the type that always wants your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever you want to call them, lover, to hang out with you, to be with you at all these events? How many people you usually, when you are dating, you find this stuff out, right? You might find this stuff out, but when you're not together, you might, whatever, work here and you maybe be able to blow it off once in a while. But when you're living together, you see everything, right? You can't make excuses up anymore. How would you handle those situations? Would you be okay with that? Or are you going to be one that's very demanding, and no matter what we do, we're doing it together? And this is part of, and I mentioned this, I think, last week a little bit, about the balance. And I talk about this on Facebook, a little bit in my book too, about maintaining your own sense of self, and where's the give and take that goes with that you can, are you okay with saying, no, I don't? Or are you going to do everything because you feel guilty? Or, this does not include Ab because it doesn't involve him, but would you do things just thinking that you're going to get laid by your partner? Or are you, oh God, I better go because if I don't, I'm not getting sex. So do you, what do you do as far as selling out your own sense of self, and how are you going to handle those situations if, one of you wants to go all these events and expects you to go with them? And how are you going to handle those disappointments if it doesn't happen? Would it be that big of a deal? And a lot of times, like I said, you might have, if you don't talk about these expectations, you might be flexible a little bit before you move in, but once you move in, it's funny how the flexibility sort of solidifies and becomes more rigid. You're looking at, okay, we're living together now, we have to put up this front, and we have to act the status quo of society and maybe what our families expect of us. It's easier, I think, when you're older, more mature, more sure of yourself, and more confident. You tend to be a lot more flexible. But when you're younger, it might be very, very difficult because you're still trying to maybe, sadly, meet your parents' approval, relatives, friends' approval, and you don't want to disappoint. You have that guilt and shame sort of going back and forth. And do you make it's about you two? And can you be okay with just doing your own thing once in a while? What was the problem when you, I know you lived with somebody before. Was there any problems? You didn't have family out there, did you?
No. Where we moved to, no, I didn't. or not in the immediate area, but no, we had problems. We definitely had problems, and I should have seen those red flags, but I was so eager to start afresh, start new, go to a place where I've always wanted to live, the D.C. area. I was so eager to get out of Detroit that I said, well, you know what? Let's see what happens. She got worse when we got there, and needless to say, we didn't last too much longer after we relocated.
What got worse, Sav?
Her attitude, she got very demanding, more controlling.
Okay.
And, there was already the age difference. She was 15 years older than me.
Right.
So that, didn't help matters any.
What a cougar.
But I was wise enough to know that, I deserve better. I'm out. Peace.
Sweet. No, I'm all for that. Yeah, you got to get out. And once those red flags, it's funny how little things we can blow off, we can ignore when we're dating, whatever. When we live together, it could be a year, 2 years down the road, whatever. And all of a sudden, those little things you ignore tend up being like you getting stabbed right in the gut with a knife or something, and they just irk the living hell out of you. And how are you going to how are you going to handle those situations? And talk about them if they come up. That's why I said I want to bring this up, because I think a lot of people, they're cohabitating now, and it could be they live together, a lot of couples, they moved in together after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Excuse me, some couples, waited a year, 3 years, whatever, before they lived together. There's no rhyme or reason. Everyone tries to assume, you need to wait this long before you move in. Everybody's different, You have to do, I tell people, rule of thumb, before living together, are you being totally honest with your partner? Are you being honest not only with your partner, but with yourself? And are they being honest with you? And how can you tell that, right? One, little habits you might see, whatever. Not only that, but what happens when you end up living together, your space, your individual space gets reduced. Maybe you're one that, whatever, picks your nose, whatever. Now, can you do that without getting caught? Can you do that? If you're maybe a woman and all of a sudden you don't fart that much, and all of a sudden you're living together and the guy's like, oh man, I never knew you did this all the time. All your little secrets, you can't hide them forever, and they get exposed. And are you okay with that? Right? I'm all for that. Would you be okay to be your true self, your real self, and expect your partner to be that too? Ab, you got something to say.
Are her farts worse than mine?
You know what? Some women are.
If she can out-fart me, I'm going to be grossed out and impressed at the same time. Not going to lie.
Grossed out and impressed at the same time?
It'll cancel. The different responses will cancel each other out. It'll be all good.
Sweet. Yeah, I don't know. Would I ever want one that was worse than I am?
And I have, by the way. In fact,
I've been around. Yeah, it's been
the one I left in D.C.
Oh no.
Yeah.
15 years older, she had to be going through menopause. No, I'm
she was on that path. On that path.
And what, not only that, when you live together, do things change as far as, simple things? Are you going grocery shopping together? Not, what happens if you don't like the same type of foods? What the hell do you do? Say one's a vegan, and it happens all over the place, right? One's a vegan, one likes meat, whatever. Can you balance those out and still cook maybe 2 meals? It can be a pain in the ass and it can cost more money, but this is something that you have to talk about as far as, it could be laundry, dishes, what else? Cleaning. What happens if one's sort of a neat freak and the other one's sort of messy?
Right.
Maybe not just messy. Maybe just more casual.
We had
the
that
situation.
We had that issue.
You were a mess?
No, I was actually the neat freak.
I can tell. Yeah, that's not too surprising. You look at and not only that, what about the boundaries as far as the house? Are you one that is okay with, say, family, friends, just stopping by unannounced? And say your partner, or maybe you're the opposite, where they need to call, and one of you don't see a problem with that. They're coming over, no big deal, and it pisses you off. These are something things you got to maintain, not only maintain, you have to discuss. You have to get them out there. Maintain goes down further in the road, if you start sliding back. But these are issues you want to talk about, we expect your friends, whatever, to call before they come over, or unless, if you're both okay with it, that's fine. Chances are you're not going to be okay. One's going to have an issue, it's going to come up. So you need to discuss this. You need to talk about it openly and honestly. How can you tell when someone's being totally honest and being real before you move in with somebody? Is that possible? Is that possible, Av?
It could be in theory. Depends on what dynamics are at play.
I agree. My suggestion, too, I tell people all the time, they talk about single people. Clients I have, they'll come in and know, Greg, I'm thinking about, moving in, or I got ass and I'm scared to death, and with all this stuff. And my recommendation is before you even move in together, and this is nothing new, people heard this all the time, you need to go away a couple times together, like for at least a weekend. A week would be great at a time, but like most people, me included, can't afford to do that. So I don't care if it's cheap, actually sleeping in a tent, that might do it. You might kill each other, but you find out a lot of stuff about their character and how they're stressed in certain situations. Not that you want that, and I'm not saying you want that, but that is how you sort of find out what the true character of that person. How are they going to react in certain situations? You need to spend at least a few weekends together, overnight, just you two. And sort of the idiosyncrasies will come out. They can't hold them forever, okay? They're going to come out. And that's where the reality, people say, people show their true colors after 3 months, 6 months, whatever. That's going to be one way to bring them out. And if maybe they chew with their mouth open, maybe the way they brush their teeth totally grosses you out. These certain situations come up, and you need to be able to discuss them. And I'd rather have you discuss them before you move in together. There's going to be issues you're going to run into once you move in together. I get that. But I want you to get most of them, or try to get most of them out of the way so it can be a smooth transition. You both know what to expect, and you're not going to be surprised and hit over the head like, oh, damn, now what do we do, right? I'm pissed, I'm whatever. What were we thinking about? Because how many people, you move in together and you're like, oh, shit, was this I can't stand this. And all of a sudden, you're living together. Now what do? Do you leave, or do you say, oh, God, I made this commitment. I moved in together. I can't leave. Then all of a sudden, the resentment, disappointment, all this starts furthering the decay of the relationship. And you're running in not a comfortable situation, right? That's why I want you to be able to discuss this and all this stuff. Now, how many people, this is another one, too, talk about that upsets a lot of couples. When they first move in together, one of them might walk around the house nude, and the other one, oh my God, I can't believe you do that. I'm all for both people walking around nude in the house. I have no problem with that. But that is little things people don't even address. What happens if, your partner loves, just walking around the house naked, right? Are you okay with that? Or maybe you want to walk around naked and your partner is sort of, oh my God, I can't believe that. And they're always ripping on you. It's about trying to accept each other for who they are. However, how much can you find out before you make that commitment to move in together or get married, right? My philosophy is, do you live together before you get married, right? We all know divorce stats are the same. A lot of religious leaders, everything, years ago, you say, oh, you live together, you have a higher divorce rate. That is false, and that was definitely unrepresented and unsophisticated, I should say. Is that a word? Unsophisticated?
Yeah, just roll with it.
Not sophisticated scientific research and stuff. The stats were very biased with all that big time. But the divorce rate, living together, you would think it'd be lower, but it's not. It's still the same. Living together before, get married, or you just get married, live together, divorce rate is the same. Fu said, run as fast as you can while you can. What the hell was that about? I just caught that. When are you going to run fast? Are you talking food when I've talked about gas and farting? Or
Which is always a good idea.
Yeah, it's always a good idea. And, are you able to mold and balance each other out and sort of fit and build on one person's strength, one person's weaknesses when you move in together? But I want people to try to find out as much as possible before you move in, because I want that to be a smooth transition. It's going to be stressful. It's a lot of, you might be overwhelmed emotionally, in a positive way because you're excited. You can't wait, whatever. And all of a sudden you start simplifying the issues that might arise. You might ignore them. You might, when I say simplify them, it's not a big deal. We'll be able to handle it if it comes up. But if you guys are so, say, maybe strict in your thinking and in your belief system that you're not that flexible, what's going to happen? So I'd rather have those brought up now. What happens if one of you might be, semi-religious and the other one isn't? Are you going to be okay with that situation? And, I want them to go to service, church, whatever you want to call it, with me, and they're like, hell no, that's not for me. It's like they're an atheist and you're a Christian. Can you be okay? Can it work? Yeah, it can work. However, it's about mutual respect for each other's situation. But then when you bring kids into the mix, right? Not that you have to have kids. What's going to happen as far as those situations? But before the kids are even around, what starts triggering potential issues? And that's what I want you to talk about, potential issues. How are we going to handle them? Not only that, like a religious aspect, if you do have kids, and we'll get into that in a little bit, about parenting differences and all this, which is a huge, huge issue where, one parent might be very strict where the other one is more flexible, more wants to be their friend, and the parents clash. And I have a lot of clients in my office that run into that situation. And it's not always dad being the strict one. Sometimes dad babysit kids, and mom's the strict one and beats their ass all the time, and dad doesn't want that. It's not always, the mom always babying the kids. It's not what you think out there. Other situations, simple things. What about TV shows? That's easy, Greg. We'll have separate rooms, right? We'll have a TV in the bedroom, TV in the living room, so we can watch our separate shows together, right? One wants sports, the other one can't stand sports, and one wants reality TV shows, whatever, the frickin' house sluts of Atlanta or whatever you want to talk about.
Which is the accurate title, by the way.
That is the accurate title. And you're and you want your boyfriend to sit there and watch it with you and be okay and love it like you do, and chances are it might not happen, right? And just like you might hate sports, and he wants you to watch, a football game, basketball game, whatever, and you're like, oh, screw this, forget that, And can you be okay just being alone and watching your own thing together, right? However, does that mean every night that you're totally separated? And can you come together, allow that space, which you both need? However, come together, and how are you going to work that out before you move in together? And it's really sort of ironic how many people, I think I did it too when I was younger, living with somebody, that, a lot of things you don't realize, and other people could be friends, family members, whatever, have you thought about this? Oh, yeah, no big deal, we'll handle it, whatever. And then it hits you in the face, and you're like, damn, what do I do? And then, little voices inside, out, not inside your head, you're from around you, you're like, oh, shit, they warned me about this, they asked me about this, and I just blew it off. I want you to wake up and be mature enough to get out of the fantasy land and look at potential problems and challenges that are going to come. Maybe the frustration, which I don't want whatsoever. I want you to head them on, deal with them before they materialize when you move in, okay? You ready for a little break?
Sure.
I'm babbling all over the place. Sorry, people. I'm sorry. It sounded very unprofessional. Anyways, we'll be back. We'll be back in a few minutes. This is Greg Dazinski, and this is the Art of Relationships radio show. coming from rawradiox.com in Detroit. We'll be back shortly.
Yeah, baby, talk about the cosmic thing. You know what I'm saying now? Yeah, come on, little girl. And what we thought was nothing grew to be so much more, unlike anything that's ever been before. Shining star in the galaxy, true soulmate, and in a spatial connection, the cosmic groove, the influence of my love, the stars high above. You're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. Yeah, like my cosmic girl. Yeah, baby, the sun is my world. When life is open as the stars at night, love's a twilight, a journey through the Milky Way. It shines so bright, unlike anything that's ever been on earth. Your love is from the heavens, and that's why it works. The influence of my love, the stars high above. You're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. You're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. Ooh, yeah. Well, I feel the magic of the angels. When together, it's forever and ever. The influence of my love, the stars high above. You're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. You're everything I've ever wanted, you're everything I've ever needed, my cosmic girl. You're everything, my cosmic girl. You and me now. Everything, you're everything, my cosmic girl. You know you are. Everything, you're everything, my cosmic girl.
This is White Dog Detroit, and you're listening to Raw Radio X. Real Raw Radio.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. What are you doing? You know what you should be doing right now? You should log on to rawradiox.com. And for those of you on the go, just check out TuneIn and search Raw Radio X. It's that easy. rawradiox.com. The hottest music around, locally and abroad. It's what we do. It's rawradiox.com. Real Raw Radio. Yo and hello hello fam. Avenue here. Make sure you tune in every Thursday at high noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific to Avenue and Friends, only on rawradiox.com. It's your weekly therapy session, your usual dose of highfalutin hijinks, crazy antics, sarcasm, and bad jokes. Oh, it's true. Remember, it's Avenue and Friends, Thursdays at noon, 9 a.m. Pacific. rawradiox.com. Act like you know.
I can't figure out why the hell I can't say all the words that I've been thinking in my mind, unless I'm in front of a crowd shouting into a mic and I'm naked. So can she get a little bit closer?
Hey, welcome back. This is Greg Dzinski, a.k.a. Master G, and this is the Art of Relationships radio show coming from you live in the studio, rawradiox.com. So check them out. Check them out on Facebook. Again, rawradiox.com. You check out my friend Avenue Sebastian show on Thursdays at what, noon?
Thursdays at noon.
Thursday at noon.
9 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, Avenue and Friends.
Sweet. So check them out on rawradiox.com. Again, you give us a call tonight, 313-462-0107. Ask any questions you want, no matter what the topic of the show is. I usually say this on every show. It doesn't matter. Give me a call. I want to answer any questions I can to help you out in your life, your relationship, or, maybe you're dealing with grief and loss issues too. Missing, it's the anniversary of someone maybe that passed away, you love, a loved one or whatever that passed away. It could even be a pet. A lot of people think that's silly or crazy. Oh, it's just an animal. They can be your best friend. So I'm a huge animal fan, so I get that, and it's hard. Anything I can do to help you out, give us a call here, 313-462-0107. You can also join us on the live chat if you are using the Art of Relationships radio show's own app, Spreaker's own app, or you can go to Spreaker.com. Like I said, you can also listen to the show on TuneIn, and of course, RawRadioX.com here on Wednesday evenings. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. Everybody's ready for a hump day and survive the storms here in Michigan on Monday. I think it was Monday, Tuesday morning, something like that. Talking about trying to get, sort of predictions. You're not going to get them 100%, as far as when you go to get married or when you live with somebody. You're not going to hit them 100%, You're not going to be able to hit everything that you're going to potentially run into until you're living together. But I want to hit the main ones out of the way that we talked about on the first part of the show. And if you live together, what happens? Have you even talked about we're living together, and what happens if there is an accident? I say an accident meaning, oops, I'm pregnant. How are you going to handle that situation, and have you talked about it? Maybe you don't want the kid, and you're the female, and the guy wants the kid, and, you talk about, abortion. I'm not going to get on. We'll save that for another night, whatever. I'm not in the mindset to get into that situation this evening. But, say you want the kid, you don't. Have you talked about what happens if I get pregnant, right? Well, he wears 2 condoms, and I am on the pill and use an IUD and use a depot shot. We're all protected. Shit happens. Are you ready? How would you handle that situation? Would you still have the kid, or you want the kid? Let's face it, guys, you're screwed. If, I hate to say that, but, woman's body, it's her choice. And guys, you don't have a choice in that matter. If she wants it, that's going to happen. And I'm not saying, so you got to take responsibility. If you play, you might have to pay, according to the front of the court here in Michigan, right? So you look at those situations and what happened. That's, I wouldn't say, not only, that can happen when you're not living together. I get that. But maybe that's going to change the dynamics that once you live together, maybe, okay, it's like we're married now, and now we have a kid, we're going to have it, we're going to raise it together and live happily ever after. This is something that, you deal with, and you have to remember, though, because you talk about it before you move in, and if situations arise, you might change your mind, right? You might have a change of heart, as they say. Your emotions, everything else, your, rational thinking can go out the window when you're living it, when you're dealing with it. It smacks you in the face, so how are you going to handle those situations? We talked about, the in-laws, outlaws situation, with holidays. How are you going to handle that? And if people coming over, say you're okay with people staying until 2, 3 in the morning at your place, but your partner's like, midnight, that's it, whatever. How do you balance, and do you respect each other, and how are you going to work these situations out? A lot of people do not talk about this. They'll talk about, okay, how are we going to handle the bills? That one tends to be a common theme. Not only that, what happens if one of us lose our jobs? What are we going to do? How are we going to survive? And what's going to happen? And I know, ladies out there, you're going to say, well, if the guy loses his job, I'm hooking up with somebody else that makes money. No, I'm teasing. You know what? I'm all about guys doing that, too. You look at the situation, what's going to happen when, this stuff hits the fan? How are you going to be a teammate to your partner? How are you going to be a team and realize that not only each individual is important, but the relationship is important now too? And what are you going to do to sort of, I don't want to say attack. Why when I say attack, maybe foreseeable issues or challenges that are going to come up so they can be smoothed out, that you can be at least prepared how you're going to deal with them. Once they happen, that doesn't mean, everything's going to go 100% as planned, not at all. But at least you're going to have somewhat of a awareness to at least have stepping stones to combat those challenges or try to, handle them together, okay? How are you going to handle situations if you move in together and you've never seen situations where there's anger issues? And I have a couple now with the situation that that happens. He or she might drink a little bit too much or just, blows up, very explosive at times. Doesn't mean it heart of gold. Breaks chairs, breaks shit, frickin' knocks out windshields of vehicles, and, got a heart of gold. And what are you going to do when you know what, I'm not going to be with somebody like this. Now you're living with them. You're hopefully in love. Now what are you going to do with these situations? And also, I think most of us also have to know, you go into it, we have unconditional love, and most of the listeners know my thoughts on unconditional love. I want you to have that, right? I want you guys to be connected and to have unconditional love for each other. Yes. However, I also think unconditional love can be stupid if you are in like an abusive relationship, maybe getting constantly cheated on, substance abuse issues where, I unconditionally love that person, but you know what? Yeah. That doesn't mean it's a great situation for you to be in, okay? Okay, what else? Talk about kids. Right before the break, we talked about, if you have kids, how are you going to... You have this image, right? Let's be honest. You have an image of your partner, right? Oh, my God, they're going to be such a great dad. That's why I fell in love with them. And, oh, my God, he's going to be great. He's going to treat our princess like I want him to, and he's going to be an awesome dad, take our son, fishing, sporting events, whatever. He's just going to be awesome. Or oh my God, she's going to be a great mom. I don't care if she's a crack whore. She's going to be a great mom. I just know what, all these expectations.
Has that actually really been said?
I don't know.
Let's hope not.
I hope not. Yeah. I'm in love with the crack whore. No. Is that a song? Only in Detroit, right?
It could be. Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
Only in the D. Anyways, we're looking at, you look at the situation. We have expectations, and if that person doesn't meet them, we're like, oh, shit, what do we do? That's what I'm talking about. You don't know until you're in a situation dealing with kids. How are you going to handle feedings? How are you going to handle, the kid wakes up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, God, it's your turn to get it. No, that's your job. You have all these expectations, how you're going to handle it. And what's it going to take to work together? And that's going to put you through the ringer having a kid, especially if you have a kid that's colicky. That, I hope not. I'm not wishing any ill will on any kid, whatsoever. But if there's health issues, if there's, say they're colicky and they don't sleep that well through the night and all this stuff, constantly waking up, what do you do? How are you going to handle that as a team? These situations, and that's where I said your true self, your true character might come out in how you handle stressful situations that you might not see or even anticipate before you move in together or get married. Now, how are you going to combat that and deal with the situation? Or say your partner freaks out, once, gets angry, pissed off, whatever, stresses out, starts crying, goes into an emotional fit. And then are you automatically going to say, okay, I'm done. I've never signed up for this and I'm out of here and leave out, right? Now, if it happens, a couple times a week, now you might have something to go for. Your expectations get shattered. In reality, it'll slap you in the face real quick when you live together. Okay? Now, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about the sexual conquests. Do you think I want to hear from callers, damn it. And also text on this situation. 313-462-0107. Do you think sexual conquests fade away? Do they fade away with age? Do they fade away in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s? Just think of your grandparents, 80 years old, getting it on. Do you think your grandpa's spanking grandma, trying to break her hip, right? Bending her legs right over her, behind her ears. Oh, shit, as you hear those arthritis bones a creaking. Do you think they no longer have sexual conquests anymore? Or do you think it's done and over with? Sexual, they could be single. Like I said, the highest rate, think about this, people, as you're thinking about your parents or your grandparents getting it on in your nightmares tonight. The highest rate of STDs and STIs is in nursing homes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
It makes sense when you think about it, but
yes.
Most people don't want to think about it. Therefore, they don't.
Do you want to think about your parents getting it on? Hell no, I don't.
Why would I?
Nobody does, but how in the hell did you get here, right?
Exactly.
Oh, the stork, right?
Yeah,
I ordered it.
I literally was. I saw the paperwork.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, isn't it the paperwork on the thing they used to get? Yeah, stork and all that stuff. It's a blue one or a pink one, depending on
UPS handles that work now.
UPS or FedEx, right?
Yeah.
Whoever's running the special deal back then. And you look at the situation, with sexual conquest, and you look at, it's easy to think about in your 20s, oh, man, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to have a threesome or go to an orgy or, whatever. You can't wait to maybe, you're a guy and you wanted to bang a cheerleader or you wanted to bang the band, some chicken band. Oh, my God, like on American Pie, that she was a freak, man. How many people would like to think that now? I bet you since that movie came out, American Pie, and the flute. I take the flute and the clarinet, and I touch my... Anyways, and you look at the situation, how many band members ended up freaking getting hit on after that movie, thinking all band girls are freaking freaks sexually, right?
Quite a few of them are, though.
Well, I agree. I agree.
just
I know. That stereotype is mostly true.
Mostly.
Right? And you look at a situation, with the sexual conquest, but in a monogamous relationship, and I talked about this, and I think Avenue, it looked a little puzzled when I said this. Can you still have sexual conquest in a monogamous relationship? Is it possible? Is there something that you've never tried that you want to try? And I know with Princess Fu and, Chip Fu might be sleeping. But I don't think there's anything that they haven't done or want to do yet. I don't even know, and I don't want to speak for Princess Fu on there anything. And she might surprise me. I don't know. I'm supposed to be, a sex therapist, too, and I'm like frickin'... I'm learning shit. Oh, God, here we go. Hey, Rhonda, what's up? My grandparents had sex until they were well into their 80s. They probably where my sex drive came from. You know what, Rhonda? I agree. I know stories of my grandparents still getting it on in their late 70s, early 80s on my dad's side, too. So, maybe your sexual conquest is that you're still sexually active. Could that be a conquest? That, when you're taking your Geritol and your arthritis pills and your Viagra and frickin' Cialis or whatever, maybe that's a sexual conquest that you're still able to have sex and you enjoy sex, maybe like your grandparents, Rhonda, into their 80s. Would you want to be that person? I know, Avenue's not even thinking about that because he's anti-sexual, so he's out of that mix. Do you look at sexual conquests, even in a monogamous relationship? And I want to have a show about, maybe people that are in the lifestyle that are swingers or in open marriages, or maybe, they're okay having sex with other people, and they're in that situation where, they're okay with that. We're emotionally connected, we're all this, and a lot of people, oh my God, I could never be like that. For some people it works all that. And I want to do a upcoming show about that, swingers and the dynamics involved and the emotional connection, everything that. I hope to never lose my sex drive. I hope you don't, Rhonda, either, and I hope I never lose mine either. But what happens if you're alone and you never lose your sex drive? Is that where you pleasure yourself? Hell yes, you're going to have to, right? Or you're going to have to buy a sort of a pocket pussy or a blow-up doll or frickin' long dong, frickin' Johnny Wad. God, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Frickin' Johnny Wad, frickin' dildos for you ladies and vibrators. Oh, speaking of that, I heard I had a couple that just talked about they were having some sexual Rhonda's talking about a weave. I think it's called a weave vibe, and I don't want to frickin' actually they should pay me frickin' advertising fees, but a weave vibe that you can operate. Someone can operate, like I could be in a car, not parked in a car. You don't want to drive because it's like texting, and I could via Bluetooth. You can frickin' operate that vibrator. Like $250, $260 for this thing. That you can operate it from like my cell phone, and you could be in the next room getting it on. And it's called the Wii Vibe. There's a lot of things out there, and you look at sexual conquest. What do you do? Is it a sexual conquest? Okay, I got her off once. Now my sexual conquest is I'm gonna get her off 4 times. But those are amazing. Way to go, Foo. Apparently you have one of those, huh? Those Wii Vibes? Yeah, I knew about them a while ago, and the technology just keeps increasing. I had a couple Saturday we talked about them, and she's freaking all smiles. Oh, hell yeah, I highly recommend them. And I've heard some very good things about them, right? Now I just got to get paid commission for advertising those suckers. So you look at the situation, the sexual conquest. Do you look at sexual conquest, even in a monogamous relationship, to be more goal-oriented, right? Do you use it to have fun with, or are you looking at it as sort of a goal orientation that you lose the connection, the emotional connection with your partner, because you're just worried about maybe doing a gymnastics move? Do you remember, Av, what it was like?
Oh, geez, it was so long ago. I vaguely remember it, though. Good times. But, yeah, I mean, just thinking about it, it would take me out of my train of thought for anything else. Totally throw me out of just all, yeah.
Do I look at myself, everyone, what, oh boy. Do I still have sexual conquests that I want to meet? Hell yes. You know what? I want to, when I'm old enough, I want to break my frickin' partner's hip, man. Yeah, that's right. I threw her hip out of place, man. I just banged her so good. And she loved it. As she's crawling on the floor, whatever, can't move. No, that's not funny, right? And there are women that have and guys that have broke a hip getting it on, believe it or not. And so, the sexual conquests, do they become more goal-oriented, or can you use them as fun, right? Even in a monogamous relationship, everyone assumes sexual conquests are, right, the notch on the bedpost, the frickin' notch on the lipstick. Yes, ladies, you put them on your lipstick case or maybe your tampon case. That's not that romantic, is it? But you look at the situation, it's a sexual conquest. Everyone assumes that it is a certain number, right? That you want to increase your number. Maybe it's a certain, what do I want to say? A certain person, like I said, a cheerleader. You know what? My sexual conquest is to do that frickin' glass-wearing, hair tied up in a bun, frickin' librarian that's a total freak, right? Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to do a frickin' cheerleader.
I used to want to do that.
Oh, hell yeah? Used to?
Well, like I said.
You're anti-sexual now, so you don't want to. Have you ever done? I haven't done that. Have you?
Come close.
Come close, but.
I mean, well, she wasn't a librarian, but we did a little role playing. That was nice.
That is good. Yeah, I want to go coming when I'm really, really old. You know what? I would love that. You know what? I would, after I tell people, if you are people die, have heart attacks when they're having sex. I'd be so freaking pissed if I freaking die before I came. I'd be so freaking pissed. How would you know, right? As let me come and then die, right? You don't want to, and then you die before you come, and you're like, oh shit, that was a waste. You look at, sexual conquest could be an act. It could be, maybe increase in orgasm. Or what about a guy as he gets older? It's even more harder. Can he be multiple orgasmic? Would that be a conquest? But are you still concentrating on that conquest, that goal, versus the connection and enjoying each other's company? So you got to be very, very careful with that dynamic, okay? Because I don't want you to always have to worry about the thing. But yeah, I still want you to have the sexual conquests or fantasies, if you will, that you want to go into. And if you're single, you know what? Do you want to do every color of the rainbow as far as white, black, Asian, Mexican, Taiwanese, Polynesian?
Any more you can think of? Come on.
Irish.
There you go.
That's like whiter than white. What else? Eskimo. God, I can't. Can you think of any other ones?
I can't.
I can't either. I'm trying to think other ones. But, do you want to, do that? Do you want to do Neapolitan, like ice cream, right? Do you have someone, do you want to, ladies, do you want to do a bald guy, a guy with a beard? Do you want to do a guy that's blonde, maybe has a frickin' mullet, that has a frickin', I can't even think what they're called now.
I can tell you what they don't want to do.
Av, come on now. Yeah, I know women would want to do you. You know that. I can't even think of what the hell they're called now. Oh, Mohawk. I couldn't even think about that now. Do you want to do you want to do a guy with a frickin' Fu Manchu or the new beer coming out with the frickin' bicycle frickin' mustache, the Flavor Savers.
Flavor Savers.
You never heard that before? Flavor Savers. Yeah, really?
Wow.
Yeah, flavors in from oral sex, sort of Flavor Savers.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Good God, good days.
Yes, I don't believe I have. Yeah, foo. You know what?
That used to be one of my favorite meals of the day.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Hell yes.
And you know what? The more it makes sense because I was working out like 3 or 4 times a week, and I was in the best shape of my life. And you know what? I've got to say that is definitely part of a balanced breakfast and diet.
Fat-free, right?
You've got to do it. Fat-free and gluten-free.
Gluten-free, cholesterol-free.
It's good for you. It's good for you and her.
Absolutely. If you do it right, it's good for her,
That's
right? So you look at, do certain conquests. Do they, if you're single, whatever, are you still worried about the conquest or are you still worried about the connection? And do you sort of, is it good to sort of act on your fantasies? That's one thing that's, you look at the situation, and if you are totally on 2 separate spectrums in a relationship, like I said, sexual conquest in a monogamous relationship, or are those only for people that are swingers or in open relationship aspects, right? But I want to do a show. I'll do a show on, swingers and maybe break some stereotypical taboos and, open marriages in the situation. And the people that don't know the difference between the two, open marriage is basically, as long as you're using protection, whatever, if you see someone sexy you want to bang, go bang them. And that's for both of them, and they're okay with it. And some people, they get turned on. They get turned on. The husband gets turned on by the wife telling the sexual escapade she had, and she gets turned on by him having a sexual escapade with somebody else, and they get turned on, and they separate that. And you think about back in ancient times, excuse me, the Greeks and the Romans, they were able to separate that. They said the body is for pleasure, and the heart is for love. Like, I can love my wife, love my husband, but the body is to please, and it doesn't matter who we bang. Who we have sex with, and is that okay? Or do you think monogamy and, sexual conquest and monogamy. Do you think that's a contradiction? What do you think, Av? I know this topic is totally off your.
It is, but I'm all about simplicity, and I'm the type of person that one person. I'm not trying to focus on more than one at a time. So if I'm with that one person, that's it, and that's who I'm having my sex with. I'm not going outside of that realm for anything else.
That's how
I don't need to.
I promote that. That's how I am too.
The more I think about it now, that's a part of the reason why I couldn't even consider doing friends with benefits, because it's like, yeah, we're friends, but I can't do sexual intercourse outside of a relationship.
Right.
I just can't do it.
I am one. Have I done it? Yes. Have I done it more than once?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We all have. We all have.
Well, yeah. But I am, too. I'm a one-woman man. That's, and people know I'm not, I'm not in the lifestyle. I'm not in that. People, when I talk and I joke around a lot, when I teach human sexuality, actually that class is starting next week again, Thursday night. But I talk about it. Everyone thinks I'm this freak in the whips and chains, and I'm all in the threesomes. And I'm not. I'm a one woman man.
Not that there's anything wrong with the whips and chains.
No, not at all. I'm not, flogging. According to Fu, right?
I approve those acts.
The flogging, and we talk about difference in the extreme S&M aspects. We talked about that. Oh God, that was a month ago. That was on. Yeah. It was on, I think, actually before I joined Raw Radio X, we talked about flogging and different, baby, different extremes, with the severe, hardcore S&M and the main term of flogging, the whipping, and all that good stuff. But the sexual conquest, you look at the situation in a monogamous relationship, can you still have them? Can you still have those sexual freaking epithets? Is that possible?
Yeah, I guess in theory. I mean, it depends. Do you have the type of relationship where, in theory, there is, at least in the bedroom, there is a submissive and there's a more
there you go.
A dominative person? If there's something like that going on, well, yeah, obviously, I could see someone needing to always one up the other. Maybe they're versatile. Maybe they switch positions.
Absolutely.
I've been in that position, no puns intended, multiple times. And then for us, though, it wasn't, a one-up thing. It was just, we both were kinky and into different things and wanted to try stuff out. But, yeah, I mean, you could have a conquest or a list of conquests. I mean, maybe there's some things that you want to do that you've never tried before. Yeah, I mean, it's something like that, maybe. Sure, why not?
Yeah, if you look on the chat, I think two ladies on there are usually followers. Look like they might be wanting to do you, Ab. So
stop it.
So about being look on that. I don't know.
See it.
You see that?
Stop it.
I think you might have a following, man. You might have some stalkers.
No,
they're on that frickin' sexy voice.
No, I just have a very easy voice to listen to.
Yeah, I like how he says that, and he walks away from the arrogance.
When you're when you're a nerd who has an you're a nerd with an easy voice to listen to. Oh, there you go. That's all you need.
You crack me up.
I'm just saying.
Okay, we're going from sexual conquest. I want to go into, has anybody out there? Please, I'd love to hear your story. We would love to hear it. Give us a call, 313-462-0107, and I want to hear stories. Have you ever ended up dating one of your ex's friends, maybe a sister, a cousin? Have you ever? And I tell you, I get in situations. I've had a couple that they had a threesome and happened to be with the husband's brother. I can tell you frickin' stories. Having a threesome and having a brother, having a sister. Everyone, oh God, I can't wait. I've had threesomes with my girlfriend and her mom. That you look at situations, but I'm talking about not only that, but that you broke up with something. Just own it. You have the voice. Oh, there you go, Ab. See? He knows. He's trying to be humble, but it's hard for him to be humble.
I do. Well,
Ain't a
well
cunt.
thank you, Foo. I do have a voice. I've got a
Oh,
voice.
God,
I'll give
here
you
we go.
that.
Yeah, he does have that Barry White type voice going on. He's a lot better looking than Barry White, too.
Yeah.
You look at the situation that, those aspects, you come alive and look at him. They are. I'm not sexy, Rhonda.
Oh, no. I haven't been sexy since 1734.
I have. You know what? I do have game, Rhonda. I do admit that. But as far as a sexy voice, hell to the no. And you've had me as a student, whatever. I love joking around, whatever. I might have a little bit of a personality. Sexy voice, hell no.
I have the personality, I have the sense of humor, and I have the voice. That's about where the sex appeal ends. Like
that's all you need,
personality, man. No, you do need looks. You do.
Well, what the hell?
You are.
With
See,
me?
that's to you. That's
no,
to
it
you.
isn't. Yes,
it
you
is.
are.
That's to you.
Anyways, Rhonda, are you flirting with me, Rhonda? I'm blushing now, right?
You are.
Yeah,
it's true.
I do blush. They might be just sweating my ass off. But you look at the situation, you look at the dynamics to where, how many people out there have you ended up dating someone else, maybe your ex's best friend? Ooh, their brother. I have people that ended up, they were married, divorced, and then remarried their ex's brother. Ended up marrying their ex's wife. I have, I know I can probably, I'm not going to list them, but I can think of 10 people right now off the top of my head, just like that has a woman, her ex ended up living with her sister right now. Brother lost his ex-wife to his brother. I'm telling you, I got situations where a cousin is now dating the guy's ex-wife. So these situations, everyone is sexy in their own way. Foo, you are so politically correct that makes me sick. And you know me, Foo. I'm not politically correct. And you're trying to kiss ass and make everyone feel all hunky-dory. Why don't you just give us a cookie now, too, with some chocolate milk?
Ooh, oh, no, seriously. If you have chocolate milk, though, that's cool.
Actually, chocolate milk is good. I haven't had that in a while.
Me either.
I don't drink a lot of milk. Yeah. Anyways, now I drink poo juice, but no. I didn't say foo. I said poo. Anyway, those dynamics. But you look at the situations. How difficult would that be to, how would you be around that individual? And I want to know, hey, Foo or Rhonda, have you known anyone that has been in that situation? A friend of yours that all of a sudden is, maybe got dumped and their ex is dating their sister, brother, whatever. I'd love to hear from you. 313-462-0107. And how about we take a quick little breather, and then we'll come back and finish up the last segment. Sound good, Av?
Sounds good.
Thank you. This is the Art of Relationships radio show on RawRadioX.com. If you're looking for that unique, cool fashion statement, check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. She has hand-painted, hand-designed canvas shoes for you, your loved one. It's an inspirational piece unique to your own taste. Check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. Again, that's Shoes by Shay on Facebook. Okay, hey, welcome back. Sorry, this is Greg Dzinski, licensed professional counselor, relationship and sex specialist here, coming from the D at rawradiox.com, the D being, of course, Detroit City. Give us a call. We're in our last segment of the evening. It's 313-462-0107. Oh, my God, it seems like I have a little more of a voice than I did at the beginning of the show. I don't know if I needed to wake up or anything else. Oh, yeah, Rhonda, you mentioned, mentioned a husband divorced a friend and got with her sister. He had 8 kids between the two sisters. So get do they live down south, Rhonda? I don't mean to poke fun at anybody, but this seems like it only happens down south where not only are the kids cousins, they are half siblings, too. Ew. That sounds like down south. But believe it or not, Middle Easterns, it's still okay for them to marry their first cousins. Do you know that? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say Middle Easterns. Muslim cultures, Islamic culture, that it is okay for them to marry their first cousins.
Wow.
Yes, it is. And they're a little more relaxed when they're, living over here, Dearborn, whatever. But, yeah, it's okay for them to marry. I knew that a long time ago, and I just got that reaffirmed again. That was mentioned with a new client, sort of secretive, coming to see me way out of the way. So I'm flattered, but, yeah, it's weird. But you look at situations, talk about, what would you do? How would you handle that? That is wrong, Fu. Yeah, I agree. Oh, God. You know what, cousin? You're freaking hot. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Can you imagine that? Well, you were anti-sexual before, Ab. That would make you even probably more. Well, that'd make me anti-sexual.
It's only really been for the past couple of years.
Yeah, you said 4 years, right?
So... yeah, that probably would definitely kill it for me, for sure.
Yeah, that would, oh my God, that was, ugh. No, thank you. Looking at, what would you be okay with it? Or is that just a taboo thing or do you think love is love and it shouldn't matter if it was, your ex's best friend, your ex's brother? You imagine going to family gatherings, you divorce the guy, and all of a sudden you're married to his brother. What would that make it for a comfy situation at, say, other weddings, anniversaries, birthday parties, and everything? Would that be awkward? Would I want that situation? They say, if you love somebody and it works, and I get it doesn't work out, but is that okay? Or is that just a societal taboo? And how many people in, God, what, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, even before that, if they're, say the brother died, he would end up marrying the wife to take care of her, right? That was a common practice. So you look at it, I know we're more advanced, more evolved than that, but you look at that situation, is it wrong? And who's to say it's wrong? Why, if you love each other, you love somebody, doesn't matter if they were an ex. There are things you just don't do. Fu, I don't think there's anything that you wouldn't do. There are things that you just don't do. And who are you to, I'm not saying you, Fu, I'm talking in general. Who are people, the judge, is that right or wrong? Me, in that situation, for me personally, I think that would be very, very awkward. Unless my ex's, say, best friend was frickin' smoking hot, then maybe I could sort of be okay with that. I'm joking. Well, actually, maybe not, depending how hot and how sexual she is. But you look at, would that be okay, or would you, is that a taboo thing that you would just not do? And I want to know, why would you not do that? Is it out of respect? Is it out of your exes anymore? So much if it's a respect, So what, you tell your kids that you're Uncle, we'll say your Uncle Avenue now is now Stepdaddy Avenue. Would you be okay if there are kids involved? You have to put them before yours. Yes, you do, before yourself. You know what? In those situations, Foo, I agree. But I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I love playing devil's advocate, as you know. You look at a situation. Now, you know what? Would your kids want you happy? Maybe they love Uncle Av, and they think he's cool and awesome, got it going on.
Kids
and
love
he would,
me. It's
yeah,
true.
and they would love him to be Stepdaddy Av instead of Uncle Av. Or would it be Step Uncle Daddy Av? Ooh, that sort of has a ring to it, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
Stepdad. I
Not at
can't
all.
even repeat. Stepdaddy Uncle Av. Is that how it goes? That sort of just flows, doesn't it?
It should be.
You look at the situation. Do you do what's right? Is it selfish? And a lot of things in our society, we're brought up, we're taught that a lot of things are selfish. And I agree with you, Foo. I do agree. When kids are involved, it's a different ball game. And you look at the situation. And I know, and I'm talking the ones that, the exes, I know, like I said, I could probably come up with 10 off the top of my head, with a sister of, with her sister, with his brother, cousin, with their, they used to be close friends and cousins. They're with them, and there's kids involved now, and it gets to be very dicey. Gets very, very dicey, very, and should the kids be okay with it? Should they be forced to be okay with it? Again, you try to do what's best for your kids. And we talked about this, and I posted a couple things earlier, and I think it was earlier in the week or maybe over the weekend, about do you always, are you one that always needs to make your kids happy? You're responsible for your kids' happiness, and I think that's a bunch of BS, and you need to stop doing it because we're going to have entitled, spoiled brats on our hands. So, but with this situation about a friend or whatever, you know what, or maybe do you set boundaries? Okay, I will not date my ex's brother or my ex's sister, but you know what, the friend is okay because that's not a relative. Would you be okay with that? Would that be okay, Foo? Where'd Rhonda go? Did she fall asleep on us? We know she don't have school or didn't have school tonight because it doesn't start back up till next week if she's taking any summer classes. But you look at the situation, would you be okay with dating somebody's friend, or would that be just awkward? And some people, believe it or not, they're okay with it. Oh, you know what, we broke up, it didn't work, I want her happy, I want him happy, and I think they'd be great together. I've heard that before, and that takes a lot of, hey, Rhonda, sorry, I didn't mean to stalk you. No, but you don't want to mess the kids up. I agree. How would you mess the kids up with this, Foo? Psychological and emotional damage? Stepdaddy, Uncle Av? I love that ring. It's just so smooth flow. Av's getting ready to punch me in the dick.
I can't stand it. I think it's a horrible idea. Terrible idea.
Yeah, I do. Rhonda, I agree. I think there should be boundaries in place, and you sit there. But you know what? Just think you could be totally frickin' happy and in love and totally happier than you were with the ex, and they're a different person, and oh my God, you know what? And you know what? Her sister is a lot hotter than she is, and we just click, and you know what? Her brother's hung a lot more than my ex. How would you handle those situations, or would you just not go there? You can't fight the chemistry. You can't fight that passion. And all of a sudden, that one drunken night that you end up waking up with each other, your best friend, your ex's best friend, your ex's sister, brother, whatever, it was a one-night drunken excursion. Now you're like, oh, shit, what do we do? Depending if it was really good or not, you'd do it again, wouldn't you? You'd walk away, Rhonda, or are you lying? But, there's a lot of... He has a few friends that would approach me, ew. Well, Foo, I know, yeah, you're hot. Frickin' all kind of guys want you, right, Foo? Especially they know your sexual appetite and your sexual goal-seeking endeavors, which is all hot. We broke up, but I could never. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that would be very, very difficult. I don't know if, yeah, it's just some things I would like, you know what, because, but I love their family. I just can't stand her, but I love her family, and you know what, I don't, that would be very, very awkward, whatever. Maybe she wouldn't hang around the family events anymore. Maybe the ex wouldn't, so it would be okay. No, it's a very difficult, whatever. It's a very difficult situation. I know, Foo, I got, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you know it. You got it going on. Chip Foo is a lucky dude, right? You look at the situation, and it happens a lot. A lot of people don't think about it. They look at it and they say, oh my God, how could they date the brother, the best friend or whatever? And you look at that situation, would you, is it wrong? Is it right? Is it a totally taboo situation with boundaries? Or does it just create too much complication or too much stress? Or do you move out of state, and would that be okay? Move out of the country, would, if you love each other. And I love playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying I'm for it, not at all. I'm just trying to shake you up a little bit and look at different situations. Rhonda mentioned I had that happen. My best friend's hubby was coming on to me, inviting me to go out with him. I was attracted to him. I removed myself from the whole situation. Rhonda, be honest, you did him, didn't you? Rhonda, you frickin' rode him like the frickin' stallion he was, right? That's not good. But, you look at those, should they be totally off limits? And you look at, Jerry Springer and all that crap, about marrying the brother and having an affair with the brother. He's, oh my God, she's pregnant with her husband's brother's kid and all this stuff, right? But you look at those situations. Nope. I didn't think so, Rhonda. I was just playing, teasing. It gives you something to think about. Would it be good? And if your friend would, if your friend was in that situation, you know what, I'm in love with his brother, I'm in, friend's a guy, I'm in love with her sister, or whatever the situation is, do you just pull yourself away from it, or is that temptation and that chemistry just too strong? And, what really happens if it does, you get that and you end, and then what happens now? You ruin sibling relationships, best friend relationships, cousin relationships. Do you take that chance? And it's a difficult situation. Most people, I agree, most people would stay away from that situation. I would too. But again, I'm not one, you look at judging the situation, and Americans, for whatever reason, we are so quick to judge, aren't we, people? And what's right, what's wrong. And we try to, one thing we wouldn't do, that doesn't mean it might not be right for somebody else. So, on that note, why don't we call it an evening? Is that okay, Av?
Sure.
I appreciate your help very much again. You're a true professional, Avenue.
Oh, always a pleasure.
And with that sexy voice you got going on there, I think some people are going to show up and maybe rape your ass.
I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. But it's funny you mention that, because I'm thinking about doing a late night show here.
Are you really?
I'm thinking about it. Avenue After Dark. We'll see.
I like that.
We'll see, though.
You know what? I do like that, Av.
I just have to make sure the street lights are on.
Oh, the street, yeah. Rhonda, thank you so much for the kind words. Foo, Rhonda, thank you so much for being on the live chat, as always. And thank you so much for the listeners out there and loyal followers of the show. I can't tell... Pillow Talk with Av. Oh, yeah, he's got that voice, doesn't he, Rhonda? Oh, look at that. She's getting, I bet you she's going to frickin' end up taking care of herself, frickin' just playing your voice back over and over again.
Well, you know what? If my voice can do someone a bit of good, then there you go. I've done my part.
I'm all here to help, right, Av?
That's what I'm here for. That's right.
She said yes. Well, Avenue After Dark. You know what? I like that. That's got a ring to it. I'd be freaking. Oh my God! What time would that be? I'd be falling asleep, man.
I may start it at either 11 or midnight.
Oh my God! Really? Yeah. That would be smooth. That would be real smooth. Anyways, thank you for listening, everybody. I much love to everybody out there. Everybody be safe, please, out there. Start spreading love out there and kindness to everybody, man. Get rid of this frickin' hate that's going on in the U.S. right now. I'm sick of it. I hate the racism. We need to share love. Most people are not that way. It's just the stupid idiots out there that I don't know if they're uneducated or they're just haters, and they need to stop, right? Start sharing the love with everybody out there, okay? I mean that from the heart, so we need to knock this shit off. It's 2015. Doesn't matter what year it is. It should never be in place. So, everybody, much love. Thank you for listening. This is the Art of Relationships radio show coming from RawRadioX.com in Detroit City. Everybody take care. Peace. Much love.
Waking up, kissing the floor of a bathroom stall. This isn't any way